going to get worse before it gets better. And if it gets worse, especially with fiat currency, you're going to want to own something that's not only a hard asset. I mean, I really like commodities right now. I think they're extremely cheap.
And what other commodities, George?
Copper.
Agriculture. I like oil. I think that copper is very interesting right now. I think uranium is interesting. But also when you look at gold or silver as just money, you want to own something that's held its value for over 5,000 years. Then you're talking about Bitcoin. Wouldn't that be really interesting if people move more and more towards Bitcoin like they have in China and in Venezuela, where they lose confidence in the system or the currency? But the really cool thing about Bitcoin is you've got a fixed number of units at 21 million. And I would argue you're going to have fewer and fewer units because people always lose them.
So Schiff lost his money.
Yeah.
Schiff lost his and immediately. He doesn't like it. He calls it rat poison too.
Yeah, but it's this money supply that's shrinking instead of this fiat currency that's expanding exponentially, like we showed on those charts. So,
okay, so George, let me ask one more question. So
yeah.
Harry Dent, who's an old guy like me, like I said, we grew up playing Monopoly and paper money, and I've never trusted paper money. That's why I own gold, silver, and Bitcoin. You know, Kim and I have lots of gold, silver stored all over the place.
Yeah.
We don't have paper. Now, a guy like Dent, who's an old guy like me, he says buy treasury bills, and I saw that little smirk come across your face because you're kind of in between us. Look, we're not saying any of us is right. I just want to hear your opinion. So Dent says buy T-bills because they're a lot safer than gold and silver. What do you say to that?
Here's the problem with that mentality, in my opinion. I've got a ton of respect for Harry, but you know, I'll disagree with people if I disagree. And I think the problem with that thinking is you're trying to predict what's going to happen with the price in the future instead of right now looking at the landscape and just saying what's cheap and what's expensive. And like Jim Rogers always says, if you just buy things when they're cheap and sell them when they're expensive, or just buy low, sell high, at the end, that's what we all want. And that's how we're going to be successful. You don't get too cute with it. You know, it's the KISS formula. Just keep it simple, stupid. And if we just keep it simple and buy what's cheap and buy low, sell high, and what's cheap right now is gold, silver, Bitcoin, and commodities, and then we don't worry about the rest, I think in the long run, everyone, including myself, is going to be a lot better off with that type of mentality.
So personally, are you holding gold, silver, Bitcoin?
Not silver, gold, Bitcoin, commodities, uranium. And fortunately, I bought back in March. I bought a lot back in March. I bought gold miners as well. But I want to make a point there that even in March, I had no idea if they were going lower. I had no clue. In fact, I thought, yeah, they're probably going lower. You know, I bought oil or some of the oil producers when oil was really crashing. And I thought, I didn't know it'd go to negative 40 a barrel, but I thought that it would go lower. But I still bought right then. Why? Because it was cheap.